So how about that latest episode of Helluva Boss? Oops. So far it's my favorite episode of Season 2, and had me thinking of many things to discuss in future videos. I can't think of a moment from this episode that didn't have me saying, hey, this would be great to cover in a future video. There's a reveal of how Blitzo and Fizz got injured, the return of Stryker, who's working with Crimson, and Stolas' return after nearly being killed in Western Energy. By the way, in terms of seeing how Blitz and Fizz got their scars, can I just say it was perfect timing with how I made a parody of the Joker trailer using Blitz? I know it's a different Joker who said it, but you want to know how I got these scars? That was my impression of the Heath Ledger Joker. Feel free to tell me how good or bad I was in the comments. I'm also wondering how to combine those two into a cosplay, so that should be fun. Anyway, I should get back on topic. This episode has me thinking about many topics to cover in a video. However, that's also a problem, because I want to make a video now, but it usually takes me a couple weeks to make longer videos when I cover a topic. So I'm going to be doing something different. This video will be a top 4 list of my takeaways from the latest episode. Specifically, these ideas came to me after watching the episode, and my thoughts on how it will affect things moving forward. These won't be in any particular order, and I may make a full video that either covers or references to these points in the future. Also, remember that these are my initial reactions, which may or may not change in the future. Now with all that out of the way, let's jump to my first point. Blitz getting an osmotic crystal will lead to him having a human disguise. At the end of the episode, Fizz agrees that Blitz can have a crystal to do his job without the grimoire. As Stolas pointed out, those crystals are usually given to Osmosis' demons so they can go to the living world. While we have seen Veronica and her succubi friends go to Earth back in Spring Broken, we didn't get to see the crystal itself until Unhappy Campers, where we saw a succubus use it to open a portal for Blitz, and then see that Barbie has one on her wrist. One thing I noticed in Unhappy Campers, when it came to Barb, was that her human disguise disappeared with the same visual effects as her using the crystal to open a portal back to hell.
Come on, Blitzo. Next time you want to find me, Blitzo, don't!
In comparison, look at how different it looks when Luna transforms. While I could be wrong, this does make me think that we'll see Blitz and possibly Moxie and Millie in a human disguise on a future mission. I'm not sure if they've ever stated the crystal gives you a human disguise, but it would make sense. If you're going to Earth and one of the 7 deadly sins gives you the power to do that, they'd also give you the power to blend in. I mean, Veronica doing her concerts on Earth seems to be a regular thing, and Osmosis would probably help with that, considering the concerts cause fans to lust over Veronica, which I can't blame them. I mean, it is Veronica. Don't judge me. Not only do I think we'll see the human form of Blitz, but it will finally put Stolas to the test. Now that Blitz will have a crystal, he won't have to see Stolas anymore, considering he won't need a grimoire to do his job. At the same time, Stolas will try to show that he wants an actual relationship instead of what Blitz thinks their relationship is.
Stolas, don't act like what we have is anything but you wanting me to fuck you, okay? You make that really clear all the time.
While I'm not sure what this will mean for them in the future, I am excited to see how Blitz will react to not only getting a crystal, but also the thought of not needing to be around Stolas anymore. Deep down, I think he has feelings for him, but he has to see if they're real, or if he's just hoping someone loves him now. Speaking of Blitz's relationships, this leads me to my second point. Blitz will start repairing his old relationships. During the episode, we saw Fizz yelling at Blitz about how he ruined his life. While we knew about this, we didn't see what exactly Blitz did to cause Fizz to lose his limbs. However, we finally got our answer when we saw the flashback of a fire starting at the circus, and Fizz saying how Blitz just ran away after it looked like he caused it. When we see Fizz's flashback, we understand why he blames Blitz for what happened. From his point of view, it looked like Blitz was the cause of this. However, we also get to see Blitz's point of view and see that it was an accident and that he was running to save his mother. Not only that, but both of them end up talking, and Fizz reveals that his life is great now and not ruined as he said earlier.
It's not like I'm broken, and I now have someone who understands me, and fuck you! My life has actually been pretty great.
While I wouldn't say they're friends again, it does seem like they're both on speaking terms. Like I said earlier, Fizz told Osmosis that Blitz could have one of the crystals to go to Earth without the grimoire. I don't think Fizz would have said that if he still hated Blitz, or at least at the same level he hated him before this episode. Seeing Fizz and Blitz start to repair a relationship makes me think that we'll see Blitz do that with everyone else he's hurt in the past. I'm not sure if there will be another Blitz and Fizz episode, but I can see similar episodes involving Veronica and Barbie. We also know that there will be an episode called Apology Tour, which is a reference to a musical artist going on tour, possibly hinting at seeing Veronica again. I could also see Veronica in Mammoth's magnificent musical mid-season special, since it will be a musical-related episode. While I'm not sure what the episode will focus on, I could see her somehow being involved, because she is a famous musician in Hell. Also, we know that Fizz will be in that episode, so maybe he tells Veronica about Blitz saving him, and Veronica talks to Blitz about it. As I said before, I think Veronica still has feelings for Blitz, and maybe hearing that he saved someone he hurt in the past is enough to get her to talk to him again, without insulting him. Either way, the last relationship Blitz will fix will be Barbie. From a storytelling perspective, Barbie is the most important to Blitz, so it would make sense to save her for last. Also, hers will be the hardest to repair, so it will be interesting to see how Blitz will fix it when he reaches that point. Now, moving on to my third point, Stryker is starting to break. When we first met Stryker, most of us thought he was this badass cowboy who disliked the Royals like the Goetias. We even heard him trying to convince Blitz that killing Stolas was a good idea.
You know, the two of us are superior than most of our kind. And you were so above sucking on a disgusting, rich, pompous Goetia, only to sneak topside for scraps and work for bitter sinners who could care less who you are.
At first, it made it seem like Stryker was more of an anti-hero. He may be against the main characters, but it looked like he cared about the other imps who were treated like trash by the higher classes in Hell. However, as the series continued, we saw that wasn't the case. First, his job to kill Stolas came from Stella, a Goetia. On top of that, he's not above using fellow imps like Blitz and Fizz to get a job. The minute he saw both of them after Crimson asked him to prove why he should hire him, he immediately captured them. And yet, he still acts like Blitz and Fizz are in the wrong for being in relationships with the Goetia in one of the 7 deadly sins.
As far as I'm concerned, you two are both embarrassments to our kind for meddling with blue bloods to begin with.
Honestly, that made it even better to see him get beat near the end of the episode. However, we also see Stryker starting to break from being defeated.
You think I'm just gonna let you get away after all this? I'm through losing these fights!
With that in mind, I think Stryker is starting to lose it, considering he's lost 3 times in the series. Not only that, each defeat has just been more humiliating for him. For example, he took out both Moxie and Millie in the Harvest Moon Festival. In Western Energy, they were the ones that stopped him. Then, in Oops, Blitz defeated him and Crimson's mob alone. Technically Fizz helped distract them, but it was mainly Blitz doing the fighting. And just to compare, the last time Blitz beat Stryker was with Moxie by his side. Again, I think Stryker is losing it and will become more dangerous the next time we see him. The comic cool exterior is starting to melt away, and we got a glimpse of that when he was about to kill Fizz. Chances are, the next time we see him, he'll be even more desperate to kill them, and I don't think he'll need to be hired by someone to want to try again. The only real question is how dangerous Stryker will be from losing his sanity. And now my final point, which is the mystery of who kept Blitz and Fizz separate for all these years. One thing I didn't mention earlier is after Blitz's apology, Fizz asked why Blitz never came to visit him. That's when we got this revelation.
But they told me you didn't want to see me.
I never told them that.
Bullshit. You didn't?
No, and no one told me you came.
While they don't state who they are, many fans have already started speculating on who they could be. It's also worth noting that the word they could mean anything. While a word implies multiple people, some writers use it as a way to hide details about an individual, such as their gender. In other words, it could be more than one person who kept them apart, or just one, and the creators are trying to hide who precisely that was. While we're not sure who it is, I will comment on some of the names I've seen thrown around and whether I think it was them. First, I'll start with Veronica. I highly doubt it's her, considering the photo we saw with her and Blitz. He already had a scar, implying that they got together after the accident. Even if we assume Blitz knew Veronica before that, you could argue they wouldn't have gotten together if that was the case. Next is Barbie, who I think is also unlikely. While Barbie does hate Blitz, I don't think her anger was enough to push her to do something like that. To me, she comes off more as the type to just be done and not want anything to do with Blitz ever again. I don't see her as the type to say I hate you and I will go out of my way to ruin your life. Again, that's just my thoughts. One name I didn't expect to hear though was Mammon. However, the more I thought about it, it made sense. Mammon is the sin of greed, and he probably realized Fizz was worth a lot of money as a performer. Granted, Fizz was injured horribly, but we know he has robotic limbs now. It's possible Mammon gave him those limbs first, either because he knew it was worth the investment, or because he had already invested in Fizz before the accident and realized that would be the only way to make his money back. I also think that the episode hinted that Mammon kept them apart. We know the accident caused this, and the accident itself was Blitz accidentally setting fire to the tent by pushing someone holding a lit birthday cake. When you look back at the episode, it's clear that the fire on the birthday candles that set the circus on fire is green. Again, it could be the conspiracy theorist in me, but it seems like one of those details they added for a specific reason. We'll eventually find out if I'm right or wrong in future episodes, though. Now, I turn the conversation to all of you. What were your thoughts on the latest episode? Do you think I'm right about any of my points? Or do you have your own points you got from this episode? Also, would you like to see this list idea become a regular thing for episodes of Helluva Boss? Let me know all that in the comments. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to see more of my content in the future. I'm Marco Strange. Stay safe, stay strange.